Afternoon all. How are we doing? Ugh. It's a shit weather outside today. Slightly shitty, by which I mean it's actually incredible. Although, I'm surprised, and don't make these my famous fucking last words on the stream, but I am slightly surprised that my internet hasn't, crapped out on me. Because usually, when it starts raining, my internet just dies. I don't really know why. Like, apparently TalkTalk have something somewhere down the line that's not waterproof, I guess. It's kind of weird. But for the minute, at least, we seem to be okay. Although it's windy as fuck outside. There are some big fucking trees across the road from my house right now, and they're just bending backwards and forwards all over the place. It's pretty crazy. England, yeah. Yeah, but did we honestly think they are anything but useless knobs? This is literally only confirmed what we already knew. I say good on Iceland. In fact, I kind of wanted Iceland to win, to be honest, so I'm happy with that result. No wind in Yorkshire. What's going on? It's at the end of the world. I want a GIF somewhere, and maybe someone will make it. I don't know, of like that scene from Game of Thrones where spoiler, Roose Bolton stabs Robb Stark, and is like the Lannisters send their regards. I want one of those. I want that, but with the Union Jack over Robb's face and the EU flag over Iceland's flag over Roose Bolton's face, and it just says the EU sends its regards. Stab. So yeah. Right. Let me just get rid of that. Alright, let's start at Seattle. Don't use real weather. Use real time, I suppose. It's probably like early morning over there still, isn't it? Over on the west coast of the USA. I've taken basically like a week and a bit off of streaming on YouTube.
Enough to make a week.
John Fly, thank you for the host. How you doing, bud? Yeah, no, I've taken a week off the streaming and YouTube thing, honestly, lately, because I don't know, I just feel like I needed it. It was a hell of a week, so yes. I was away for a while, actually, during it anyway, so... But I was away during the referendum itself. Got very... Well, yeah. Anyway, enough said about that. I've got the wrong main window thing up here. Hold on. There we go. That's better. Beautiful. Has it plonked us in a really stupid place? Of course it has, yeah. FS Cloud plugin. No. Go away. Well, I suppose I could get an FS Cloud, but I still haven't fixed the issue with other planes not showing up in FS Cloud, which ticks me off ever so slightly. Which really means there's no point in going on it. So, yeah, kill that. Yeah, let's get ourselves moved to a gate somewhere. Whoa, wrong. Pick a gate, any gate. Let's see, what do we got? JetBlue, American, Southwest, Alaska. Alpha 6. Where does that put us? It puts us... Yeah, that's fine. We're not going to be Alitalia, though. Let's see. Who shall we be today? I'd be American, but I don't think there's a... I don't think there's an American skin for the 722. Could fly the 721, but I like the 722 more. KSEA. Delta. That ain't bad. Quite sexy. Eastern. Apparently not for this version of the aircraft, because that's what happens when you load the wrong thing. Forbes Capitalist Tool. Weirdly appropriate. Although that doesn't fit either. It's annoying. You can't tell. These are all the liveries from the big old livery pack that you could get for this thing. The earlier version of it. Now, they do work on the new version, but you can't tell which is for which version anymore. It's kind of annoying, so... PSA. What's that? Pacific Southwest Airlines? Yeah, I think so. They have a little smiley face on the nose. Like 3 United ones. Got the Battleship Grey, and I think, is it the bottom one that works? Yeah, it is. And then I got the old, I don't even know what you call that rainbow thing. Think though, I'm just gonna fall back on Old Faithful. TWA. Dane Flats represent. Anyway, there you go.
You can teach monkeys to fly better than that.
People saying we were on par with Germany, Italy, etc. You fucking what? I want to know who these people are and how brain damaged they are and what they're doing outside of an institution. We've never been as good as Germany or Italy, except for 1966. It's like the only year in world history we've been better at Germany or Italy at football. So it's all lies. Lies, lies, lies. Right. Hooray, it lives. Alright. Let me just fade this music out, we don't need that anymore. Hey Mungo, how you doing? It doesn't help that our fucking manager is laughably bad. I just love that the Iceland manager is a fucking part-time dentist. I think that's just genuinely hilarious in every conceivable way. Should we use the checklist today? Maybe. Normally I don't, but normally I'm not streaming when I fly this thing, so, you know. Let's see. Sky Vector. No, this won't do. Salt Lake City. Flight level. Well, we're going eastbound, aren't we? So it needs to be an odd flight level. We'll call it 310. And routes. Routes. This one will do. Summer 8. And the skis 4. end it off with. Okay, very good. You shall do, sir. How long is that? 618 miles. So, back in the sim, by weight and balance, we'll randomise the packs, randomise the cargo. And we're going to need, call it, like, just to be on the safe side, about 801 nautical miles of fuel. There we go. I love how simple the fuel planning is in this plane. Meet me at the airport when you arrive. I need about a 20-minute drive to Salt Lake City. Nice, dude. So that's where you hail from. I didn't realise. Very cool. The petition to replay the match. I hope you realise that's a bit of satire and not actually serious. I'm assuming you do, but I should point it out just in case. I'm going to use XFMC today. I normally use it when I'm flying this thing, honestly. As I've said before, flying Slant Alpha is for chumps, in my opinion. I don't mind flying the odd departure Slant Alpha, but... And it's either this or the Seaver, and I don't have the Seaver installed at the minute, so... Okay, we're using XFMC, and it works pretty good. In fact, XFMC is way better than I ever gave it credit for. This thing's great. Okay, yeah, GPS position, blah, 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 blah. Route, KSEA to KSLC. Done. Activate, execute. One of the things I love about this is it gives you the fucking airport elevation. How wonderful is that? 4,227, so that means I can immediately go set this. 4,000, what was it? 4,227, so 4,220 basically is the closest we're going to get there. 4, 2, or should we round it up? 230, probably, yeah. There we go, right. Landing altitude is set. Iceland supermarket selling free beer for England fans. Ha! Nice. So they actually put out a tweet during the game, or just after it, that said, well, this is awkward. Very good. Right. So, let's see. Departing. Runway, I don't give a fuck or really know. Let's inject some weather while we're at it, actually. Drag that over to the other screen. It won't happen, but I kind of wish Iceland would just go on and win the entire Euro. That would just be the best thing ever. And make a movie about it later, like Cool Runnings. Okay, wind is 330 with 8 knots, so... Looks like one of the 3-4s. And it'll be the Summer 8. BKE. I think, yeah. Beautiful. Alright, looks like I can abbreviate this route slightly since the departure ends at BKE.
Boom, Sir Daisy. It's enough to make her weep.
Christian, thanks for the host, bud. Cheers. Right. Route. Next page. BKE. And then direct BYI. Bravo, Yankee, India. Check that. If it doesn't need it, does it? It makes a ding-ding noise if it needs executing. And I think we can leave it at that. You don't have to put in the arrival as well on top with this FMC, which is lovely. I'm going to do it anyway. Actually, no, I'm not. Fuck that. Actually, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Monkeys to fly better than that.
What's the weather like in Salt Lake City right now? 150 at 15 knots. So, Apparently with the latest update of the 733, you know, the IXEG one, you don't actually have to put in the arrival anymore. Is that bollocks, or did I read that wrong in the patch notes, or is that a thing now? Because that's kind of cool if that's a thing now. Mostly because I'm a lazy fuck. We'll take whatever, and skis for. Right, yeah, there you are. Skis for Brabianchi, India. There we go. Bingo, bango, bongo. The other thing I like about using XFMCs with this plane is it gives you a top of descent point. So you don't have to calculate yourself, which is just lovely. Transition, oh my god, I don't know. Let me have a look at a chart. 1-6 left over in Salt Lake City. I have no idea. I guess Ogden for now. I can fix that later if I need to. It's not an issue. Okay. Why do I have that at the bottom? I don't know. Anyway. So we got 3 pages of legs. And they look damn fine to me. Just need to do the VNAV stuff, which again, this is kind of funny that you really need to do this because the plane doesn't have VNAV. It has manual throttles, you know. But I'm going to do it anyway because, like I said, it'll give us descent calculations and stuff, which is nice. Cruise out 310. Beautiful. And then flaps 5. Bang, bang, bang. There we go. I'm going to use the V card for the takeoff anyway, but, you know. I love these V card things. They're just so good. They're so freaking useful. But anyway, there you go. Right, let's switch that back to legs. Now, I just want to double check this against the chart to make sure it's correct. The thing about XFMC is it doesn't always get the departures right, especially if it's not an RNAV one. But, on the bright side... Oh yeah, I've got Innsbruck up because I flew into Innsbruck with this thing yesterday. That was really, really freaking good fun. I should do it again at some point. The cool thing about XFMC is, unlike, say, the MD-80 FMCs, you can actually input your own waypoints via GPS coordinates or track waypoints or point-bearing distance waypoints. It's really good. So you can either choose to fly at slant alpha for the departure, like I sometimes do, or you can, you know, plug in those waypoints yourself on the FMC, which is cool, equally good. So could still happen for Iceland, I guess, maybe, but I think the Germans are too good this year. Getting X-Plane to a state where it is nice to use as a rough one. Well, you know, you pays your money, you takes your chances. I find getting fucking prepared to a point where it's easy to use is like a week-long job at best. Fucking having to, I'd honestly rather set fire to my computer than throw it out of a 3-story window than actually reinstall prepared again. Fucking Christ. If it was possible to get shell shock from trying to reinstall a fucking program, prepared would be the one to do it. Anyway, looking for where is it? It's the summer. There you are, summer 8. No, that's the descriptions, the actual thing. There you are. Oh, it's not RNAV. Might make this a little bit interesting. Okay. Okay. Right, well, this is a good opportunity to give this a go. So, if we're taking off the 3-4s, we'll be going that way, the Nezug. And then, basically, what XFMC is going to do is take us straight around to, if I zoom this right in so you can see a bit better on the little screen. It's going to take us from Nezug direct to summer, which is wrong. So, what we need to do is plug in a waypoint. Let's see. How do you figure that out then? Oh, I might have to just fly the Slant Alpha, honestly. Actually, it might be easier to do it that way, the old radios, than it is to actually try and put this into the FMC. After Nezog, you turn right 070 degrees until you intercept a radial from there, although I could... It doesn't say how many miles away you are from it, so I wouldn't have enough info to put that in correctly. Because otherwise what you could do is you'd have Nezog in here, and then you could add a waypoint after Nezog in between that and Summer, which was either, like, you type in Nezog 070 and then X miles to get to a waypoint here, or you could do PAE, which is this VOR radial here, and then you could put in bearing 139, because that's what the radial is, and then the distance, but there's no distance here, so that's kind of annoying. The only way to know when you're making that turn is by crossing that radial there, and that's a pain in the dick, so unfortunately I might have to do this off the nav radios, which I don't like doing, because they're awkward and they're annoying. Especially when you're flying a jet at 300 miles per hour plus. Like in a fucking Cessna or something, I can fly off the radios all day, it's not a problem. But in something that's doing like fucking 300 knots, nah, not fun. Not to mention something that's doing 300 knots and you have to control all the vertical navigation for it manually yourself as well on top of that. So whatever, we'll manage it. It's not exactly hard. It's like a turn and then that's basically it. So it's not the that god awful one out of San Francisco that we tried a few weeks back. Fucking hell, I can't remember what it's called now. Is it the Port 7 or something? Yeah, I think so. Ah, a pox on whoever designed that fucking procedure. Oi. Anyway, so looks like I'm gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Means I need to set up these radios down here. So first things first, I'm gonna want. Oh, for heaven's sake! Lakeview, I think. Maybe. Wait for what? Hang on a minute. This. Yeah, Lakeview, so that's 112.0. And on nav 2, I can put in PAE, whatever that is, 110.6. There you go. The 139 radial, so I'll set it over here. There you go. So when that needle moves across, that's when we turn. Have you watched Cat Strater's video on setting up X-Plane, Christian? That will basically remove most of your pain. I'd watch that if I were you. I don't have a link off the top of my head right now, but what was it? Was it X-Plane Welcome to Your New Sim or something? I can't remember what the title was exactly, but it's a really good video that just basically runs you through all the basic starting up bullshit with X-Plane, and it gets you ready and set and ready to go in no time at all. Right, so what we'll do is, oh no, that's an outbound rate. Right, okay, I've got the wrong VOR tuned. We don't. Oh, tuned the wrong one. Okay, I don't want Lakeview at all. I want Seattle, which is 116.8. Fucking champion. This is why I hate navigating off radios, by the way. There we go. 11 at 6.8, and we'll fly that outbound. Oh, what's the reciprocal of 146th? It would be... I don't fucking know. I need a calculator. Jesus Christ. 146 plus 180 equals 226, apparently. Really? No, 326. That's better. Right. My math is good enough to notice that first one was a load of rubbish. Right, 326. Oh, wrong thing. There we go. We'll fly runway heading on the way out, and then it's 070. So that. The first turn. Okay, right. It's annoying. Okay, it's a bit grim and dark in here, actually. Mind you, the weather is terrible, so that might have something to do with it. Wow, apparently the weather in Seattle is exactly the same as it is in Northamptonshire right now. What were the chances, eh? Okay, look at that. Overcast as shit. That's a shame. Got loads of lovely photo scenery around here. But I guess we're not going to see any of it. Oh, you did the shared cockpit in this on PE. Good stuff, man. I noticed it came with a smart Copilot config file thingy. Yeah, this is the... I don't know, I probably should have mentioned this, but this is the new version 2 of the 727 by FlyJSim. And it's fucking great, honestly. I've not flown anything all week. I've put in... Let's see, if we go to the maintenance tab, you can see here, if we go to one of the engines here, this one, yeah, I've basically put in about 10 hours or so, give or take, on this thing so far, and I absolutely love it. It's so good. It's quickly becoming my favourite plane in X-Plane right now. It honestly is. Where's that? There you are. Hey, there we go. A little light in the middle, like on the 733. Right, anyway. Right, let's start that APU. You can hear that we're in life. Mr. Gibbs, how you doing? Good morning. Oh yeah, thanks for posting the link to that video. If they work better here than does in the Airbus or Majestic. I've only used Smart Copilot once, and aside from a couple of kinks, it was in the IXEG, aside from a couple of kinks, it seems to work better than I've ever seen. I've never done Airbus connected flight deck with the Aerosoft. I have seen other people do it, and it looks like a massive pain in the arse. So I'd say it's definitely better than that. And as for the Dash 8, I've never done shared in the Dash 8, so I couldn't tell you. But yeah, Smart Copilot when it's stable and working is pretty outstanding, really. Well, I'm always going to like the 727 more than the 732, just because I think the 727 is a prettier aeroplane, a more interesting aeroplane, just in general, and historically a more significant aeroplane in my opinion too. So. But, which is kind of why I'm enjoying this more than even the IXEG right now, just because I think the 727 is a fucking baller of an aeroplane. The 737, it's great and all. I know it's like the world's most popular airliner, but it bores me to tears, it really does. Just not interesting at all. Right, let's put these laddies on. Oops. Oh, click spots. Bane of my existence. All good here. Packs are definitely off, aren't they? Yep. Yeah. Da 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 da. Okay. Alright, let's get moving. How do we do this? We go up here, we give the ground crew a bit of a bell. Turn on the go. This is one of my favourite features. Jack should literally just make a plugin that is this, but works for any aeroplane. He like and charge like $10 for it or something. He makes so much freaking money. Because what the X-plane, please. Seriously, whatever. All right, we want to go. Which way should we push back? I guess the other way. Okay, brakes out. Push! Oops. Might want to put the fucking APU on the buses next time, bud. Well done. There we go. Yeah, anyway. I should point out, I love the failure system in this thing. It's really good. Jack did a fantastic job on it, but I have, as a result, gotten very proficient at landing this thing with no flaps. The only aircraft and X-plane currently that whose flaps will break if you overspeed them. If you have the option ticked off in the options. And yeah, been learning the hard way as far as that's concerned. Any crossing restrictions on this, Sid? Nope. Means I'm going to be a scumbag and put this all the way up to cruise. Alright, oil pressure light's gone out, which means you can start up the next one. This aircraft a good rendition of the 727? I would say definitely. Jack's called it the study version of it. That's literally what it's called on the store page now. It's the 727 study, or whatever. A bit of a reach, maybe, considering the FMC in it, that it sort of technically kind of comes with. I guess it's weird, because it's sort of like, you have to install that separately. It's like an add-on for the plane that's sort of officially supported. But, nevertheless, the FMC, XFMC, as great as it is, and as free as it is actually, it's not a real device. It's fictional. It's not like, say, the KLN-90 and the Tupolev, for example. It's not a real-world device. It's sort of a pretend FMC that doesn't really exist in the real world. It's kind of like a Boeing one, but not quite, and so on. But yeah. But everything else about the plane, if you ignore that, is pretty much study level. So, having never flown a 727 in the real world, of course, I can't categorically tell you that, but, you know. Okay. Put all the Zem generators on. Axe on. Light mode. Hydraulics. Pitot heats. I think that's it. Suppose I can set the trim. Laps 5. Let's see, flight instruments, yep. Pitot heat on. Altimeter is the only thing I've forgotten. What is that? 3021. There we go. instrument, flight control, speed brake, stab trim, flaps, galley power. We wouldn't want to miss out on our cups of coffee, would we? Fuel heat is off. Electrical, hydraulics, no lights for the electrical, are there? No. Okay. APU off. Yep, there we go. I said off, thank you. There we go. Pressure set for cruise out. Flight ground switches flight. Number 2 bleeds closed. Yeah, this bit always does confuse me a bit. I think this is engine 2 bleeds here, isn't it? Number 2 bleeds, we want to close those. It causes the pressure to go all over the place. Doesn't quite seem right, but maybe you're supposed to... I don't know, whatever. EPR and airspeed bugs set. Start switches guarded, transponder on, landing lines, blah 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 blah. Alright, cool. Move.
You can teach monkeys to fly better than that.
Right. This way. Just 3-4 right, isn't it? We wanted 3-4. I genuinely can't remember. Hold on. 3-4 right. No, okay, we're good. We cool. That way. Such a pretty plane. I love the T-tails, I do. Tri-jets, all that good stuff. Alright. So, we're gonna take off, fly runway heading until 8 miles from Seattle. So until this little doohickey here reads 8. Then we make a right turn to 0, even fucking 0. And then when we cross that radial I set up over here, we turn right again onto 165. Seems simple enough. We'll see. The call sign is TWA, by the way, not Transworld. That sounds wrong, because it's usually not the case where you just read out the letters, but TWA's call sign was TWA, so... you'd think they would have come up with something more interesting, really, but... whatever. But you. Okay, power is set. We won't be able to hear the man making the V1 rotate callouts. I don't know why, but he's barely fucking audible if he's even there. Probably something to do with my sound settings, but whatever, we don't need him. We got bug set. Rotate. Gear up. Okay, boys, runway heading. Ish. Straight into the soup. Lovely. Okay, flaps are now up, so I can accelerate. I'm so sick and tired of breaking my flaps on this thing. I truly, truly am. Alright. Whoa! Whoa, what do you... No! No! Bad plane! Bad! Ah, shit. Okay, why on earth did it go into heading select mode? All by itself. That's bad. It's not supposed to do that. Stupid thing. You press engage the autopilot, and as far as I was aware, it's supposed to just maintain your, your angle of bank and your pitch until you then select heading select. But for some reason there, it seems to have put me immediately into heading select mode. I don't know why. Right, let's try and re-engage that. That's going to completely screw up our departure, but oh well, fuck it. What are you doing? Why are you banking right? Stop it! Oh, it's because my fucking turn knob is... What? Why is the turn knob all the way over there? What? How dumb is that? Alright, fine. Whatever. Now we're going way too fast. Ah, fuck's sake. Right. Cheers, autopilot. Cheers. Let's just turn now. God damn it, that's annoying. Right. That has royally pissed me off. That should have been a really fucking easy procedure, but the turn knob was set all over the way over the right for some reason. That totally screwed everything up. Oh well. See if we can fly the rest of it properly. Well, that's a future checklist item. And make sure the fucking turn knob is set in the neutral position. Alright. Okay. Keep an eye on that. Coming up, 165, that'll be about there-ish. Yep, there we go. These clouds are Ultra Weather XP. Those asking. Oh no, we want the inboards on, we want the outboards off. Oh dear. Let's just see how bad that was in the end. Actually, you know what? It wasn't. It was kind of wibbly wobbly, but it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was. Okay, fair enough. Never mind. That's sort of like if it's like if someone you'd given the chart to a 3-year-old and told them to draw a copy of it. That's what you'd get, basically. Babby's first departure procedure. What we just flew. That's 10,000 feet. Pitch hold. Pitch us down a bit. I'm going to increase our speed to about 280 knots or so. I'll go 290. But while still climbing. We mustn't stop climbing. There's the... see, there was some lovely photo scenery there for all of 2 seconds. While the weather reloaded. Redwood, yeah, I suppose that's reasonably creative. Back to IAS hold. Alright, let's see. Gears up, flaps are up. Quarter brake was never armed in the first place, so forget that. Whoops. Everything's looking good. Seatbelt switch. Oh, I guess we can turn the seatbelt switch off. And we'll turn off the smoking lights as well, just because old-fashioned flights for the win. Gear up, flaps up, auto pack trip. Where even is that? Apparently we also had a fuel pump off. I don't... what? Never mind. Auto pack trip. Don't know where that switch is. I haven't a clue. Never mind. Forget about that one. Hydraulics, pressure and quantity normal. Let's check that. Blah blah blah. All good. All good. So now we're going to keep flying this way until we intercept this 146 radial outbound from Seattle. And once we do that, we'll get established on it. But I will arm nav lock now. Go. Once we get established on that, also I'll almost forgot to arm the altitude. There we go. I'll literally switch to the FMC and we'll go direct to summer. Oh, don't mind Gibbs. He uses better Twitch TV or whatever it's called. So he has a bunch of emotes that none of us can see, and everyone else thinks he's a complete loony as a result. But yeah, don't mind him. Love you really, Josh. Right. Are we there yet? Anyway, I just have to take my word for it that the photo scenery up here is fantastic. You just can't see it, any of it, right now. Like, you can see bits of it poking out under the clouds there, but yeah. Oh well. Apparently the weather's shit up in the northwest as well, as in UK. Oh, that is a fucking gigantic mountain. Look at that. I feel like we should have intersected that radial by now. cheat. Where are we? Oh, we're... This looks a bit off compared to the chart, but, okay. Maybe the chart's kind of old, I don't know. I guess we should be intersecting it pretty soon, yeah. Yeah, we're not quite there yet. Trust the instruments, Dave, trust them. Should we switch this to Mach hold at some point? I forget what altitude you're supposed to do that. Whatever. Chevy's not here to tell me, so... Well, I'm going to go direct to summer at the minute, because if we're a little bit skew-if, we might miss it completely. Yeah, I think we are... Hang on a minute. Whatever, no, it's changed now, so it's not going to be set as it should have been, but never mind. I don't know what was going on there. I set that course knob to the reciprocal of 146, but never mind. It's odd. It's odd. It feels like the chart's really old or something, and it's not accounting for like the magnetic declination or whatever right now, because like we were slightly like a few degrees left of where we should have been going. I don't know. What mountain even is that? Does anyone know? Like, it's fucking huge. And it's just sort of in the middle of nowhere, but all by itself. Apparently also not covered by a photo tile, because that looks like default scenery down there to me. Yeah. That's as default as it fucking gets. Oh, see, that's photoreal down there. Must be just like one missing tile here somewhere. Yeah, there's the line. Here. You think it's Mount Rainier? I wouldn't fucking know, so... I think there's a few big-ass mountains like that. One or two of them might be volcanoes. In fact, that kind of looks like it is or was a volcano at some point. I mean... It's awesome. That's not Mount St. Helens, is it? I don't even know where Mount St. Helens is. I just know it's in America somewhere and it's huge. The mesh-free... Oh, yeah. I think that might even... If that's not covered by a photo title, that might not even be upgraded mesh. That might be default mesh down there. I don't know. I mean, like, fair play. The default mesh in X-Plane is actually really quite good. Like, I have HD mesh for a lot of the stuff in the sim, but the default mesh is actually pretty good. It's better than... you asking me what tile I'm over like I have any clue whatsoever, man. No, like, it's better than, like, default P3D fucking terrain anyway. Like, my mesh in P3D, like, is stock. I don't have a better one installed. I really should do that at some point, but it's the old thing of, like, do I want to improve it and break it in the process? I'm not sure. But, yeah, my mesh in P3D is just laughably bad compared to this. So, like I flew over the Alps in in X-plane, and then I did another flight in the Aerosoft Airbus in P3D over the Alps, and it was just so bad, so bad. Went from these fucking gigantic, majestic, wonderful mountains to like a few fucking bumps in the ground. I have FTX Global virtual, I mean Mungo even, and Vector and all that other bollocks, but it still looks shit. It really does. Certainly by comparison, anyway. Oh, I didn't switch on the weather radar. It never seems to do anything, though. It's not. I think it's just default X-plane weather radar. So it literally just picks up rain and nothing else. But, you know, you can switch it on if it makes you feel better. It has a tilt knob on it, but I don't think that actually does anything, if I'm honest. Could be wrong, but you're not going to get ground clutter on that thing, after all. Oh, we're finally coming towards the end of the, bullshit overcast nonsense. I think we might be. There's another fuck-off gigantic mountain out there as well. I have OLC Europe, Bungo, I do, and it still looks shockingly bad. It really does compared to this. Like, I have OLC Europe, and I've flown backwards and forwards over the Alps. I don't know how many times, and they look so crap compared to the way my Alps look in X-plane. And that's not including the photo tiles, because I have screenshots knocking around of my pre-photo scenery Alps, and they still looked way better. I did switch off the lights at 10,000 feet. I have failed in my duty as captain. I must be relieved of my command. So now, we're basically flying in a big old, I'd call it a straight line, but it's like a big old great circle type thing. Straight down to Salt Lake City. It's like simple as shit, basically. It's really, really straightforward, which is nice. Means I can sit back and relax. And it looks like we're coming to the end of this fucking horrifying cloud, so we'll have some nice views to look at least. Yeah. That does look kind of cool though, actually, that mountain fucking poking through the clouds like that. Oh, we finally hit cruise altitude. Yeah, we're about to be. Come on, a bit more power, a bit more juice. Get us up there. There we go. Beautiful. Right, let's pull that power back. Well, I go by the fuel flow dials, to be honest with you, just because they seem to be a bit more consistent. We'll go about 2.5 there on the fuel flow. That should give us a pretty good cruising speed. Lovely. Wow, yeah, that's a pretty stark difference between real world textures and sim ones. Fucking hell, look at that. It's like forests and hills and grass to desert. Another fuck off gigantic mountain. They're all volcanoes, aren't they? They've got to be. Oh, I need to add a booze button to this thing. I just noticed. Look, look, look. We have a free button here. I need to do what I did in the 732 and we'll add a boo. We'll make this the booze button. Alright, so I give it a bit more juice, maybe, but we'll see how we get on for now. It's all a bit fickle, it all depends on the wind really, mostly, I mean, because this thing will cruise really damn fast, like the barber pole's all the way up there, so it'll do 8.6. Like 8.6, you know, without breaking a sweat, really, most of the time. Again, depending on the wind, but yeah. Speedy plane, speedy plane. Climbs like a brick, but once it actually gets going, it's fast as shit. Fast as shit through a goose, as General Patton once put it. Oh, of course, we've got the original map light simulator. Alright, where do I turn you on? Wouldn't have used the map light. There you are. Yeah. See, when you buy this, you're actually paying for a $60 map light simulator. It just happens to come with a really, really good 727 along with it. Yeah, John. Well, you got to hand it to these old planes. You know, I mean, like they don't climb terribly well. They're not very fuel efficient, and they're noisy as shit. But they go fast. They go really goddamn fast. Like the TriStar, the thing is so damn quick. I'm gonna put a bit more. We should be going faster than this. In fact, we need to, because like I haven't got all day, so. Put the pedal to the metal. Ugh, that is disgusting. Never mind, I'll have that fixed next time. Thank you, Josh. That's better. Yeah, it's fast. It might not be too bully of fast, but it's fast. I need to fly that thing again at some point before I completely forget how to even start it up. Zoom level 16 or 17. I'm making a tile. You know, with maybe a couple of exceptions, but yeah, it's 16 or 17. I don't think there's any point in going higher than that. I just like to enable the option that gives you the gritty ground textures, because that makes flying at very low altitude, like VFR, look way better. The exhaust, yeah, the heat shimmer at the back there, that is pretty cool, isn't it? Wish you had proper contrail in X-Plane, though. And I'm not talking about the bloody, you know, pop smoke button, the chemtrails button. As hilarious as that is, some actual proper contrails would be good. Boop, 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 boop. Why are there no contrail the next plane? I don't fucking know. Those X-Plane 11 preview things, though, from FlyJSim Con looked pretty fucking amazing, though. That physics-based rendering and shit like that. That's some cool shit. That's like, you know, I mean, you know, modern fucking graphics technology in a flight sim. Who'd have fucking thought it? I mean, wow. Not that X-Plane looks bad right now, but it's great to see some, you know, a flight sim developer actually bothering to use that shit. Like, I was playing Doom earlier today, and just looking around at it and thinking to myself, my god, imagine if, like, X-Plane or Prepared or whatever looked this good, you know? How to activate smoke? You just press the X key. Look at those crazy circular fields you have in the US. Like a big old honeycomb or something. It's so weird. I'm not on the 10.5 beta, actually. I've heard it's extremely beta-ish, so I'm going to leave it the fuck alone. Also, I don't think I'm running the Steam version of X-Plane as well, so I don't think I can even get it, so... Well, the arrival's an RNAV1, which is good news for us, because it means a minimum of fucking about with the FMC. Just looking at the charts for it now. Yeah, we're going to basically just sort of come at Salt Lake City from, you know, a bit of a sort of 100-degree angle and then just make straight in and land, pretty much. It's beautifully simple for once. That's good. can go ahead and double check that in here. Yeah, 1.6 left. Skis for blah blah blah. Run through that again. Skis for transition. Ah, yeah, that's tricky. Navigraph charts are slightly different from the FAA ones. Yeah, it's going to be odd, like I put in before. Yeah, because Weber, we're not coming from Jackson or Dubois, so yeah. Done diddly done done. Oh, there we go. That's the overspeed warning. Oh yeah, we are going fast. Nice. Right, let's see. Top of descent's in 330 miles. Wow, we've got a way to go then. How are we all doing this afternoon then, / morning? Here in the US, I'm pretty sure it's still morning, so. Those views, though. It's still fucking miserable outside where I am. Yeah, like, it's the wind's blowing like crazy. Like, I'm watching the clouds fly past right now, like, at aeroplane speed. And so far, my internet hasn't shit itself, which is nice. Maybe they finally fixed that, I don't know. It used to be the case, basically, that with TalkTalk, literally whenever it starts raining, and maybe it's because it hasn't been raining very heavily, but literally whenever it starts raining, my internet just sort of dies for like 5 minutes, and then eventually comes back. It's very weird. But, and it makes no sense in my mind. I don't understand how it works, but, literally, like, every time my internet dies, I get the little red, yellow triangle down in the corner there on the taskbar. I look up from my screen outside, and sure enough, it's just pissing it down all of a sudden. So, I guess because well, blatantly they've got some cables going over the ground somewhere, and yeah, fucking with it. I guess I don't know. Is there an OK tutorial in the game for a sim noob like you? Not really. You have to learn the hard way, I'm afraid. You sort of have to... Well, I say hard way, you just watch videos on YouTube. Eventually you get the idea. That's what I did. I'm fucking sat here implying that I actually bother to read books and things. Nah, I just watch YouTube videos. You can learn anything with YouTube videos these days. Like, for example, my entire university course, which is why I left, because it was bullshit. I was like, I could learn this for free at home. So I decided to go learn it for free at home, and then that was the end of that. Well, the fact that the maintenance logo on the left here that's slightly cropped off the screen for you guys hasn't lit up yellow means I haven't broken anything yet, which is good. I'd say at least 1 in every 3 flights I do in this thing, I end up breaking something. Usually the flaps. But other things too. So far, I have had, let's see. The airframe itself has 9 hours on it. I don't know what happened, really. I don't know which point, because you see, these engines have got just about, you know, just over 10 hours on them. So I don't know at what point I had to completely replace an airframe, evidently, because if the airframe only has 9 hours, but the engines have longer, don't know how that works. But anyway, yeah, the airframe's 9 hours. The engine 1 is 10.5 hours old, I guess. Engine 3's got 10.6 hours on it. Engine 2's only got 5 hours on it because I had an engine fire. Taking off out of Salt Lake City, actually, as it turns out. I think I put I put the throttles just too high. Because I was looking at the engine pressure ratio and gauges on takeoff instead of the N1 gauges as well. And shortly after takeoff, engine 2 burst into flames. It was not really a big deal. I just, you know, put the extinguisher on, discharged the bottles, whatever. Took it back around, did a visual circuit and landed it. Took it all the way back to the gate, did the maintenance, took off again and actually did the flight. But it was a bit annoying. So that's why that's only 5 and a bit hours old. Engine 3 is the same. Then the APU is not very old at all, but that only counts total time it's been running, so it's never going to be very high because you only leave the APU running for a little bit before start and a little bit after landing. So, but I had to replace that as well because the generator stopped working on it. I don't really know why or what caused it, but I may have just left it running for too long at some point. I don't know, but yeah, the generator failed on the APU, so that had to be replaced. Fucking. What's the term? Hangar queen or something for planes like this that require just incredible amounts of maintenance all the time? Oh, the appeal varies from person to person, JB. I like it as a way to sort of chill out, usually, if I'm flying an airliner anyway. Which is why I don't like some of the VOR flying type stuff, because honestly, in the cruise like this, I just want to sit back and enjoy the view, to be honest with you. And if I wasn't streaming with you guys, I'd probably be watching something on Netflix right now. But it's all about the takeoff and the landing, really. It's all about the departure and the approach. That's the fun bit. The cruise is the bit you sort of just put up with in between. But a lot of people use the sim to train their real-world skills. Typically, most of the people who fly on Pilot Edge do that. I also like to fly on Pilot Edge as well, if I'm in the mood for taking it a bit more seriously and flying properly and stuff. If I want to fly a GA plane, VFR or something like that, I'll typically go on Pilot Edge to do it. But, yeah. No, a whole bunch of different reasons. Some people just really are enthusiastic about airliners and the airline industry and that sort of thing, and so they like playing pretend airline captain for an afternoon. Other folks, are, like me, are more than anything else, are mostly just history nuts, so I spend most of my time flying the old-fashioned planes like this. But likewise, some other folks just they wouldn't touch an old plane like this with a barge pole. They don't want anything that isn't you know, like an Airbus or a 777 with a glass GPS display and everything. They don't this nonsense with round gauges and stuff like that. They don't want anything to do with it. A huge variety of folks, for varying different reasons, really want to get into it. I would go with X-Plane, Super Dan, Danish dude even. I needed a second there to read that properly. I'd go with X-Plane. That's what I'm flying right now. That's what I do 90% of my flying on, and it's more stable, it's less buggy, it's cheaper. Yeah, no, definitely take X-Plane over FSX, whatever you do. FSX, it's old. It's ancient software. I wouldn't bother with it if I were you at this point. You can make an argument for P3D, repaired by Lockheed Martin, which is like an upgraded version of FSX made by Lockheed Martin, which costs like $200 or something ridiculous like that. But even then, like, the cost is just ridiculous compared to X-Plane, so I would still say X-Plane over that as well. So, but not Microsoft FSX, no. Not even the Steam edition. It's horribly out of date. If you run most of the modern like add-ons and planes and stuff with FSX these days, it'll just run out of memory and crash because it's a 32-bit application. So. Yeah, P3D, if you get the academic license, which you're not technically supposed to, is about the same as X-Plane, but in the long run, we're not just talking about the base sim, we're talking about all the add-ons on top of that as well. And with X-Plane, literally all you really need to buy is the plane, and then you're done. All this scenery you can see out the window right now, this is free. The mesh is free, the auto-gen is free, the textures are free, the airport we just came from is freeware, the airport we're going to is freeware. Yeah. Whereas if this was P3D, well, let's see, what would we have bought already? Probably would have bought Orbex FTX Global, Orbex Vector, Orbex Pacific Northwest, some expensive, like $30 at least, airport scenery for Salt Lake City and Seattle. The plane itself, obviously, Active Sky for the weather, Rex for all the cloud textures. Yeah, no, come on, it's not even a comparison. Like, to do this same flight with, I would say, roughly equal graphics and just overall experience in P3D would probably cost you, like, fucking, including the price of the sim itself, like, probably $500 at the very fucking least. Not really, but okay. No, seriously. All right, let's do some maths, shall we? Why not? I've got nothing fucking better to do in the cruise. How long we got till top of descent right now? 232 fucking miles. So yeah, let's do this. Right. So, get out ye old calculator. So let's see the base cost. Let's assume we're going with the academic version because we're a scumbag. Let's Google this. P3D academic. How much would that cost me? That would cost me $59.95. So we'll round it up to 60. So $60. Then you're going to want Orbex FTX Global for your world terrain and everything not to completely suck.
You can teach monkeys to fly better than that.
And this is fucking expensive from what I remember. Oh yeah. I put this price in US dollars instead of fucking Australian, please. Monopoly money, I mean, come on. Mind you, fucking the UK pound these days is monopoly money as well. Thanks, Brexit. Never mind, I'll shut up about that. So that's $74. So, plus... No. Fucking... Clear. 60 plus 74. There we go. So that's $134 already. Let's say we want our departure from Seattle to look really fucking good. So we're going to want Orbex Pacific Northwest on top of that. That will be another $40, my lad. 40, please. Thank you. There we go. So that's $174 so far. The NGX is $89. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna say we want to fly in the NGX because that's what most people fly. So we'll add another $89 for the NGX. That's $263 so far. We're going to want Orbex Vector, otherwise all our coastlines and roads and everything are going to look god awful. So Orbex Vector. This is just the fucking terrain and the plane so far. We're not done. We're not even close to done. That's another $60. So now on to $323. So we've done that. Now let's say we want decent weather that's not terrible. So we want active sky. Active sky next. And that's going to cost us... again, I want this in dollars, not euros, if that's at all possible. Looks like that's not possible. Well, I'll just... Oh, here we go, dollars. That is, including VAT, $39. Whammo. $362. Let's say we want rec soft clouds as well, since everyone uses those too. On Sim Market, you can pick that up for $11. $11.73 really, so it's more like $12. Oh shit, no, back. Fucking Christ, what was it? Right, it was about $370 plus 11. There you go, $381, give or take. Okay, so you got Rec Soft Clouds, you've got Orbex, you've got Active Sky, you've got the plane. I'm not gonna include nav data for this because you don't necessarily need that. You know, your air cycles and things. You don't necessarily need that, especially if you're flying offline. So, right, we want some scenery. So let's see, P3D Seattle scenery. What we got? Taxi to Gate, Seattle Tacoma International. That will cost you $31 for the airport scenery at Seattle. P3D Salt Lake City. We got Salt Lake Blue Sky scenery, Salt Lake City. Is that the airport itself, or is that just... No, that's photo scenery. Okay, get that. E3D KSLC. Oh, maybe that is the airport. KSEA Salt Lake City. Oh no, this is airport scenery. Okay, yeah. So that's... So this might actually be freeware. My God, really? Fair play. There you go. Well, there's some freeware actually. There you go. Fair enough. Gotten off easy on that one. There's not usually freeware of any decent quality available for P3D, so fair enough. Unless there's some payware I can find elsewhere. Don't think so though. There was one being made by KSEA apparently at some point that just never seems to have come to fruition, so... Right, there you go. So... let's see. Is there anything else I'm missing? We've got Orbex, we've got the plane, we've got the weather, we've got the cloud textures, we've got the airport scenery at both ends. I think that would do, wouldn't it, really? In all fairness. I mean, you could argue things like flight planning software as well, but you don't really need that. You've got things like SimBrief for free, which do the job just fine. So there you go. That's $412. If we're going by the academic version because we're scumbags and we don't want to pay for the professional version, which we're supposed to get, that's $412 for that one flight, basically, to do it in similar quality to what you're seeing here. So to compare and contrast, we're using the fucking AS level literature language to apply to this situation for some reason, with X-Plane. So let's see. X-Plane's about $60, isn't it? Yeah. So that's 60. Plus this plane, which I believe is going for 60 now. He's upgraded it to the full FlyJSim version. So that's $120. Although it's usually on sale, to be fair, but there you go. And there you go. You're done. Everything outside the window's free. My cloud textures I use are free. The airport scenery at both ends is free. The sky textures I use are free. Oh, that's the other thing. If you want new sky textures in P3D, you'd have to buy Rex Texture Direct or whatever, which is probably another like $15 or something on top. So, yeah, that's ultimately why I think X-Plane's better for a newcomer. That's why when you get a newbie coming along saying, should I get FSX/P3D or X-Plane, I always say fucking X-Plane all the way, because most people don't have that kind of fucking money lying around. Technically, I could have upgraded to the study version of this plane for $10 because I already bought the previous version. However, I forgot to apply the code at checkout, so I gave Jack the full 60. But I don't care, he deserves it. It's a fantastic plane, so. X-Plane's half price now. Yeah, that's the other thing. X-Plane goes on Steam sales. Whereas P3D is never ever on sale because Lockheed Martin are tight-ass bastards, apparently. And you can't even get it anywhere outside of their website either, so it's like, they take themselves very seriously. Even says in the EULA words to the effect of you're not allowed to have fun while using this product. So, yeah. Yeah, 22 quid, which is practically $22 in today's money. Ho ho ho. You could pick up X-Plane right now. And Jack usually puts his product like this is a good example because Jack usually puts his planes on sale like very, very regularly on the X-Plane.org store. So you wouldn't necessarily have to pick this up for the full 60. You could just wait for a sale. Wouldn't be a problem. In fact, I think almost all of his planes, except for this one right now, I bought on a sale, so. So yeah, not quite $500 for this particular flight, but almost in prepared. If it was airport scenery at both ends and you chucked in Rex Texture Direct on top of that as well, it probably would come to about 500 actually, to be fair though. So yeah. Now don't get me wrong, I like P3D, I enjoy it, I have had plenty of fun with it. I do still fly it regularly, usually when I'm doing BA virtual stuff, because X-Plane doesn't yet have a good A320. Or a good 777. So, well, I mean, the flight factor one's alright, to be fair. But it's pretty old and a bit awkward. And not as good as the PMDG one for prepared, so. And X-Plane doesn't have a good 747 either. So yeah, if I'm doing my BA virtual stuff, unless it's like Unless I'm flying the 737-200 on a classic route, I will be, yeah, I'll be in P3D for all of that stuff, including Concorde, actually, come to think of it, but, yeah, I do prefer X-Plane. It's going places as well. I mean, like, you saw the X-Plane, well, hopefully you saw the X-Plane 11 previews from FlightSim Con. X-Plane 11 is going to blow P3D out of the fucking water, as far as I can see so far. That physics-based rendering and ambient occlusion and stuff like that, just holy crap. I'd like them to do some more work with the weather, which they've been very quiet about, which is irritating. But, yeah, it looks incredible. Like, it actually looks like a modern... Like, I know we're not supposed to call it a game because people get annoyed, but it looks like a modern game, like a modern AAA video game in terms of graphics with X-Plane 11. Oh yeah, they've completely redone the menus and stuff, yeah, in X-Plane 11 as well. It actually looks fucking remotely user-friendly now as well, so yeah, I mean, that's the future. That is so completely and obviously and definitely the future. You know, P3D need to... Lockheed Martin need to come up with something that's like... You know that bit from Black Books where they've, like, drank the guy's stupidly expensive bottle of wine and Manny's just like, they should get, like, they're like, we should get him a present to make up for it, and Manny's like, we could get him a box of pencils. And and Bernard's just like, no, that's not quite going to cut it. It's got to be, we're talking like magic pencils, like, the pencils, you draw a cow comes to life, those kind of pencils. That's, P3D needs to come up with some, draw a cow comes to life pencils, basically, to match that, as far as I'm concerned. I do have the Flight Factor A350. It's unfinished, unfortunately. Has a lot of promise, but I'm beginning to wonder if it ever will be finished. I picked it up because it was on sale. Yeah, but that 747's rubbish. Sorry, Hubble. That thing is dreadful. I do own it. I've never completed a flight in it because it always crashes the sim. No, actually, I did complete one flight, actually. No, that's not true. It was a very short one in Spain. I was flying with Josh Gibbs and co. But, yeah, no, it's rubbish. Don't buy that one, for God's sake. It's not even remotely worth the asking price. Not to mention, it's a 748 anyway, so I couldn't fly that with BA Virtual anyway. At least I don't think so. No, I don't think I could. It needs to be a 744. .95 miles till top of descent. Top of drop. Oh, I know, cool Bob. That episode was 10 out of 10. So good. This isn't Hulk! Bernard, what's that? Some kind of delicious biscuit. No, it's a coaster, Bernard. Ew, that's not good. We've got another missing tile apparently up there. Ah, look the other way. Look the other way, kids. Cover your eyes. The more expensive it is, the better it is also. Yeah. Oh, Black Books are so good.
can teach monkeys to fly better than
JB, I've played Kerbal Space Program on stream multiple times. I apologise if you missed it, but yeah, you're a bit behind the times on that one. Ross the Rabbi, thanks for the follow. Oh, that's like the first time in weeks I've managed to catch a follow alert. I feel proud. Probably shouldn't, but I do. Are these technically called crop circles? They're so weird. America, you are a strange place. Not allowed to call you stupid anymore, though. Not after last week. Oh no. Relinquished those rights, haven't we, Britain? Well done. Well done indeed. We really shouldn't discuss that. Actually, that's probably a bad idea. Let's not get on to politics. That always ends badly, but still. Formed by the sprinkler systems. Oh, really? Huh. That's quite interesting. I assumed for whatever reason it was planted that way, but yeah, that makes sense. You've got a big fucking sprinkler like in the middle or something. Like, yeah, you can almost see them. Look, you can see these little bits here, and then they got like pipes going in between them. That makes sense. Because you know, it waters that radius, doesn't it? Huh. Although you've still got square ones in between as well, so I don't know what that's about. We don't need sprinklers in the UK for our fields, it goes without saying. ILS frequency when we get around to landing down at Salt Lake City is apparently 109.5. We'll get that ready now. Any recommendations on a noob / starter plane and X-plane? I don't know, man. Really, it's just, you know, take your pick. You know, what kind of plane do you want to fly? I'd say pick one that you like the look of and start from there. you know, mention one and I'll let you know if it's any good or not. I've tried a lot of the ones out there for X-Planes, so that's really what it comes down to. It's like, pick one that you're interested in, and hopefully one that's actually not, you know, the one that's actually good, because there are a lot of planes available for X-Plane, unfortunately, that are, and same for P3D as well, or any flight sim really, that just not very well made. That are, in some respects, a bit of a rip-off. But yeah, it's up to you. I mean, you want to fly a big modern tube liner? Do you want to fly an old-fashioned airliner like this? Do you want to fly a little Cessna or something? Maybe a turboprop, something in between? I don't know. A lot of choice. Can't help you there, Chris, I'm afraid. I'm not much of a G2 XPL wizard myself. I've finally got mine working after a while of it not working. I basically just don't touch it anymore. It's like black magic as far as I'm concerned. I just leave it the fuck alone, as long as it does its job. But it's a fickle beast. Yes, you could say that, yeah. Beelzebub. Minus 5 points. I think. Yeah, look at that. You can tell it to pause the same at the top of descent point. That's so good. Useful bit of kit, XFMC. Pretty cool, especially considering it's freeware. Just install it and you can plug it straight into this thing and you get a 3D FMC down there in the corner. One other fun thing you can do with this, by the way, not a lot of people maybe don't know this, but you get the 2D bit of it here and you press. Like, because people are like, how do you make sure your plan is correct when there's no screen, no navigational display to check it on? Well, actually there is. If you get the 2D version and you click here, this little click spot here where it says map, it actually gives you this, and you can check your overall routing. It's not the best display ever, but it's alright in an emergency to make sure, if you need to make sure there's not something really wonky in there. Although by and large, you don't really need to check it too much. This FMC is really good. Basically, like I said, is if you're plugging in a SID that's not an RNAV one, you either need to fly off the radials, as I'm pretty sure they would in these things where at real life, or alternatively you need to put in waypoints yourself that you've created by either using GPS coordinates or point bearing distance coordinates or anything like that, and basically build up the initial routing yourself, because it won't do a big complex, typically supposed to be slant alpha procedure perfectly like something like the IXEG would. And I don't think an FMC installed on a plane like this in real life would do that either, to be honest with you. Oh, and sync up your heading bug as well whenever you can, because otherwise you end up with shit like happened earlier when we departed, where you end up veering off to one side like a loony as soon as you engage the autopilot. Yeah, Explain.org's really good because they actually do lots of quite regular sales, which is nice. A bit like DCS in that respect. Everything in the USA west of Atlanta. 2XP will take 8 months. Now switching to ortho. Bloody hell, fair enough. I'm not the biggest fan of ortho myself. Not the biggest fan in the world. I don't like the way it just obliterates the default autogen. I really don't. You can obviously the way you're supposed to do it is really replace that with W2XP autogen, but W2XP autogen is a bit laggy. So some of the rivers also become 2D flat textures instead of actual water as well. Like I have London and most of the UK done in ortho. What the fuck plane is that flying over my house right now? Looks like a Cessna Caravan. No word of a fucking lie. Just cruising on over my house right now. Whatever. But yeah, no. What the fuck was I saying? I can't remember now. Anyway, yeah, I prefer G2XPL basically. Yeah. I have London and the UK down in ortho as well, and like a lot of the little rivers and lakes that you notice down in London near Heathrow Airport, they're just flat textures with ortho, and they're not actually water, which bugs me. It's because of the way it blends the water, which looks very nice on the coastlines, but when it comes to your rivers and lakes, it doesn't look quite so good. In my opinion, anyway. Yeah, the front of this plane's pretty damn quiet, that's true. Oh, we should be descending. We missed the top of drop. Whoops. Never mind. Put a bit of speed brake out, it'll be good. Right. 8 nautical miles to be at flight level 219. We're not going to make that. Not in 1,000 years. Probably going to come in a bit high and fast. Oh well, never mind. Excuse me. Got distracted by the fucking plane out my window. Damn it. Oh well. Right. Okay, going down now at a nice healthy 3,000 feet per minute. Flip that over to IAS hold. So, let's see, crossing restrictions on this particular arrival. Expect 16,000 bare, basically. I'll just back that in there. Whoopsie daisy, 16,000, not 1,600. Yeah. That was a bit of a fuck up. There we go. What we're aiming for. And then 1,100 at Hinky. That's already in there. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're probably going to blow all our restrictions like a champion right now. As fast as we are descending. 5 miles to be down to 16,000. Nope. Normally I hit descend now and do the whole descent stuff about 10 miles before the top of descent in the FMC, and that's usually perfect. But I did miss that, like I said, so I'm not even sure by how much. I'm assuming quite a bit, considering how We're struggling to get down right now. Whatever. There might be a few ears popping in the back there. Yeah, now inbound skis, which is like a tiny, tiny hop. That's like 4 miles away from Bear, so... Holy shit, look at that decelerate. That's maybe a bit much. Speed brakes. Yeah, the speed brakes on the 727 are crazy. They give you a lot of drag. Sometimes forget I'm in a 727, to be honest with you. I put out the speed brakes, expect them to do fuck all like in the 737, and it's just like, no! Like you put out a drag chute. Yeah, we're back on something resembling a proper descent profile now. Stuff. We're not on PE, no. We're not even in the coverage area, so... I haven't quite grown the balls to fly this on pilot edge yet. I probably could if I was forced to, but and I also don't want to. For me, this plane, when you're flying on the FMC like this, is just about the right level of task saturation, especially if I'm streaming. Kind of about the perfect amount that I'm happy with. We've arrived at Boot with 3 O's. And then it's Henky. And then it's Iron. Not a bad view out the window. Salt Lake City is gorgeous. Not quite as gorgeous as the Alps were last night. Ugh, my god, that was incredible. But still pretty good. Any of the planes that come with X-Plane any good? The Baron, the Beechcraft Baron that comes with X-Plane's actually not bad. You can do a lot with that. Beautiful. Right, let's decel now down to 250. Probably less than that would be better at this point. Here's the key bit. Do not forget to put the throttle back in once you've decelled. Because otherwise you'll stall and drop out the sky like a certain streamer. You may or may not be hearing this chat right now. And I say this, poking fun, as if I've never done it before myself. I have done it so many goddamn times. Spectacularly stalled out the sky and crashed into the middle of central London in this thing once by doing the exact same thing. But I almost did it there, look. I almost freaking forgot myself. Because I was too busy talking about not forgetting to do it. But we're okay. And there's our runway. Hello. All right. Your inbound course is 163. We're pretty much already on that anyway, but I just wanted to switch over to the ILS anyway, instead of the FMC. Okay, there we go. That's the localizer. Glide slope diamonds at the top there. We will arm... Oops. Auto approach. So we're on the localizer, and we're now arming the glide slope. We're also still descending the flap extension speed on this thing. 230 knots maximum. We could probably just about get away with flaps 5. Just. The speed brakes, the auto brakes will go to medium. Landing this thing at Innsbruck, by the way, is a lot of fun. Especially if you can only go to flaps 5 because you broke them by overspeeding them during the departure. Did that yesterday. I did the localizer 08 approach with the crazy visual racetrack circuity bit there with a flaps 5 landing at Innsbruck, which meant that I was basically using maximum auto brake, maximum reverse, maximum fucking everything to get it stopped in time, and even then I used up literally all of the runway. It was really good fun. Let's get up our V-card. Landing is going to be, yeah, flaps 30, so a VREF of 125. About they are. So our final approach speeds is going to be about that. We're on the glide slope now. All is good and right in the world. Gear down. Got our lights on. Unbelievable. I remember to put my lights on for landing. Who am I and what have I done with the real me? This is a bit of a funky glide slope. Oh, it's not actually a funky glide slope at all, it's just the plane's not quite following it correctly. Probably because I'm putting gear and flaps out and it's just fucking with the autopilot, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, that should be flaps 30 set. Yeah, now we're bleeding off the speed. I could maintain 160 knots until about 4 miles out, but since there's nobody else in the entire world right now, there's no good reason for us to stay fast. They'll just come in nice and slowly and patiently. As it's configured to land. Look at the slats and flaps on this thing, they're crazy. Huge. You left the tea bag in your mug. I've done that before, yeah. You do, yeah. You get to the bottom, you're like, fucking hell, this is some strong tea. What's going on? Need carrier landings in IL-2. Oh god, yeah, plenty of times. It's hard work to figure it out to begin with, but once you get the knack of it, it's actually really good fun. It's not actually too hard. But yeah. Carrier landings are fun. Especially in the Corsair, that's the real trick, trying to do carrier landings in that beast. You got to do it the way the Royal Navy did, basically. You got to come in with a curved approach. Because of course the US Navy barely used the Corsair on account of the fact that they couldn't figure out how to land it on a carrier properly because of the long nose and everything, but they sold it to the Royal Navy during the war. The Royal Navy figured out a way of landing it, which was actually to fly a completely curved approach to the deck. But I think it was mostly the US Marines that used the Corsair actually during World War II. So. Alright. So long, autopilot. I got this one now. Landing! Do this. Can't promise a smooth landing. I'm still kind of getting used to the tail-heavy nature of the 727. It feels totally different from like the 737. You really do feel all of that junk in the back. You come down in this thing. That wasn't too bad. It's a bit, if anything, it's a little bit like the Rotate MD-80. Like, it feels very similar, which you probably should, because they're both quite tail-heavy. I once heard an ex-Trident pilot basically say exactly the same thing about the Trident, which again was a trijet. With a lot of weight in the back, and he basically said how, you know, when you're coming into land and you're flaring and everything, you just feel the entire back end of the plane dragging its arse along behind you. And then you kind of very much get that impression with this. So. Right, that looked good. Lovely. Now where the hell are we going to park this thing? Well, somewhere right here would do, really, wouldn't it? I should do that at some point, shouldn't I, actually, now I think about it. I've been thinking about doing another... oh, there's a 727 right there. Lovely, it's a United one. I've been thinking about doing a another IL-2 campaign at some point on YouTube. And a US Navy one in the Pacific on carriers would actually be really good fun. Slot in right over here, I think. Is it even like there's no parking line or anything? Oh no, there it is. It was just bloody difficult to see. Oh, okay, this is going to be a bit awkward. I've come in at a funny angle. That is what she said. I know. Yeah. While we're at it. Start up the APU. This is going to be a dreadful parking job, but we'll take it. Bit close for comfort there. Auto gate. There we go. Ta-da! I'm not going to switch the engines off yet because I guess we can watch the replay. But there you are. Welcome to Salt Lake City, where the girls have beards and the men are pretty. There we go. How did that look? I think I floated it a little bit somewhere along there. Just a tad there, yeah. Ah, good enough for government work. Our channel's only been. I haven't. The last video I uploaded was 6 days ago. Last I checked, I've had a week off in light of a lot of recent shit that's been going on in the real world, and that's it. I think calling it a bit dead lately is not terribly fair. If I decide to take just a week off, I mean, if I'd taken like a month off, fair enough. Yeah, that qualifies as a bit bloody dead in my book. But you know, give me a break here. Literally, give me a break, please. And prior to that break, I uploaded 2 VODs as well. One which was like 5 hours long, and the other one which I think was 4 hours long. So, in fact, no, it was 6 hours long, and the other one was 5 hours. So, yeah, I left people with enough content to be getting on with. I'll put it that way. Not bad at all. I should really get myself a thumbnail image, shouldn't I, actually? When the VOD goes up on YouTube. That looks pretty good. I'll just bring it back a bit. There we go. There we are. That looks nice. That looks real nice. Oh, I'll have that. Print screen. Job's done. There we go. Get a wing view as well, just for good measure. Oh, look at that view. Awesome. The mountains in the background and everything. I don't have the landing rate plugin installed anymore, by the way. Mostly because I was trying to debug the reason why my X-Plane was running really, really laggy. Turns out it's because I had a bunch of CSLs installed for X-Squawk Box that were causing my computer's memory to nearly completely run out. Like, loading up X-Plane and running it with those CSLs installed would basically run me up to about 28 gigs of RAM on my computer usage, like in total, which is ridiculous. And it turns out that's what the cause of the problem was, but I also installed a bunch of plugins while I was at it, trying to figure out what the cause of the issue was, and installed the landing rate plugin. And to be honest with you, I'm probably not going to install it again, because it's a bit silly. It's not designed for airliners. Like, the guy who made it literally said, like, it was designed for GA planes. So, yeah. Right. Hang on a second, what? Oh, it didn't... Oh, the APU's not... I forgot about that with the replays. RIP. When you come out of the replay, it shuts the APU down. I forgot about that. Never mind. Any minute now. Alright, we have power again, hooray. Connect ground power. Oh yeah, gotta switch this off first. Anyway. No. Okay, ground power's in. Alright, there you go. Beacon off. Jobs are good and we're done. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, as I said, to Salt Lake City. Hope you enjoy. What the fuck? Oh, I never switched off the engines. What? I don't even thought I did. Never mind. Okay. Never mind. Alright, okay, engines are now off. Welcome to this fucking airport. Hope you enjoyed that. I've got to go now. It's coming up to... Yeah, it's just 6:15, so I gotta fuck off. Have a good one, everybody. I will catch you again next time, some point in the future. We'll hopefully do a bit of a longer stream, but for now... That was enjoyable. That was the new FlyJSim 727 study. It's awesome. Freaking great. It's I don't even know what that is. I'm sorry. That's part of this scenery, I think. But yeah, the plane's awesome. Probably, genuinely, I think is my favorite X-plane airliner at the minute because, you know, I know a lot of people would say the IXEG or the 767 are better, and that's fair enough. But those two planes, as good as the add-ons for them are, the actual aircraft themselves in the real world, I find terribly, terribly boring. Whereas the 727 is anything but boring. This thing's great. As I said, I'm a history nerd, so I like the older planes more. Yeah, you're probably going to see me flying this a fucking lot in the future. So get ready, be braced for 727 spam, basically, because I love this thing to bits. I really do. It's so damn good. I need to get myself a Flying Circus livery set up for this thing somehow. I actually looked for a paint kit the other day, but I couldn't find one, so never mind. It doesn't have a built. Well, it kind of has a built-in one. built-in FMC. If you go, oh, it's not that, is it? It's if you go here, if you install the freeware XFMC, you can enable an option that allows you to use it in here. It's sort of built in that that Jack supported it so that it appears in 3D in the cockpit if you have it installed and you select it down here. But otherwise, it doesn't really come with a built-in one. You've got to download XFMC separately. Same goes for the Seva. You have to use the Seva plugin that you can buy from the .org store. Use the Seva with this, which I might have to do at some point in the future. Honestly, I haven't done a Seva flight in a long while. With the old INS, maybe I should do that again just for fun and games. Anyway, yeah. And you could just not use either of them if you want to. That's what the plane will look like if you buy it and you don't have either of those installed anyway, so you just have to fly off the VOR radio and stuff. But XFMC's free, it won't cost you a penny, just install it and you're away to go. So, and it's really good. XFMC's really good. It you know, like I said, it won't always get the SIDS and stars correct, but you are able to correct them by inserting your own waypoints or editing and stuff like that, which like you could on a real FMC. So that's not really an issue. It's not like something like the Rotate MD-80 or the JAR A320 where it does the SIDS and stars wrong, but there is no way to fix it. That's when I have an issue with these things. But with this, it's fine. This thing has a lot of advanced functions that I was impressed. I actually went through the manual for it and read through it, and I was impressed with the amount of stuff you can do with this FMC. Like you could do stuff with this that I'd normally only expect from like IXEG or PMDG. To be honest with you, it's really, really cool. So I highly rate that. I really do. Anyway, it's enough of me gabbing. Thanks very much, everybody. I'll leave you with the replay. Oh, hey, look at that. The flaps and everything work in the replay. Even after having switched off the engines and stuff. Oh, look, some clouds rolled in. Nice. That actually looks pretty cool. Anyway. The weather's updating in real time, even though we're in replay mode, so, you know. Bring this... Whoa. Let's bring this back quite a bit. Alright. Oh, yeah. Very nice.
You can teach monkeys to fly better than that.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I have enjoyed your company, and I will catch you next time. Toodaloo.